Welcome to this presentation of Swinburne University and its aviation management degrees. Hopefully it gives you a lot of good information about what Swinburne is about and what the degree is, the challenges of the future in aviation. First, let's have a quick look at Swinburne itself. Swinburne is one of the top 300 universities in the QS World University Rankings. Now that has about over 1,300 different universities which it gauges, so Swinburne is right up there. It's part of the top 300 in the academic ranking of world universities as well. It's also in the top 200 in transportation, science and technology research. So it's really progressing. It's improving all the time. Its status has been improving over the years. Over 3 decades of aviation teaching experience. So Swinburne has been doing this for quite a long time and adapting to the changing world environment. It offers pilot and aviation management degrees. So it covers the whole spectrum of what people need to do that. It's not an engineering degree, but it's that management degree which helps you with your careers in aviation. If you study at Swinburne University, the teaching staff have significant industry experience in airline, airport management, aviation operations, safety management systems, human factors, and even flight training. So there's a huge, diverse range of experience which people can indeed go into. As graduates, in Australia in particular, in a variety of aviation organisations, including Qantas, Jetstar, Virgin, Rex Aviation, Regional Express, for example. It covers general aviation operations, airports, service providers, but also, of course, people that want to go into the regulatory authority, into the environmental research authority. There are so many areas where people studying aviation management can evolve and develop their careers. Currently, there's over 230 students in professional pilot training itself, and about 150 people actually studying aviation management. So the challenges are there for the world. When you look at the key factors which the employers are, the different groups where people can indeed be employed. Of course, airports is one of the main ones. You've got the airport operators, airport investment groups, the planning, the infrastructure which is going to be necessary as we move into the future with the industry. Airlines and airspace users, low-cost carriers, regional operators, cargo, freight, helicopters, drones. Drones are particular and an evolving new part of the industry. They've got a lot of challenges in their own right, but particularly the aviation industry, the airline industry is the main one which you would be really interested in as such. Government, as I just mentioned, infrastructure, that's government and airports, the negotiation between those two areas alone. Trade and industry, CASA, the Civil Aviation Safety Authority in Australia, or indeed the Civil Aviation Department in Hong Kong, or the CAAC in China. There are so many authorities which are there. It's a global industry. Tourism Australia, the Air Transport Safety Bureau, Air Services Australia, Defence Department. The Defence Department in a lot of countries is now very much based upon the European model. You have EASA and you have EMAS, which is the European system. Australian Defence has also followed those type models. Manufacturers, Airbus, Asia Pacific area, Boeing Australia. But design organisations are also around, manufacturers producing small parts for these aircraft. Education and training. Of course, there's universities. Many students are going on to do PhDs and really add to their professional expertise. Flight training, Aviation Australia, different facets which are around there at all. Also sales channels, the travel agents, the global distribution systems. Amadeus was in the past, but there's new challenges coming with those systems. Different airlines are now starting to go into this global distribution system, which is a new methodology which is out there. There's challenges in the programming and attracting customers rather than some of the other existing systems which exist at the moment. So the world is changing even there itself. When you look at some of the career opportunities, of course, I've mentioned a few already, but you've got aviation regulations, maintenance management, not necessarily the pure technical side, but the maintenance and distribution, supply chains, managing departments, drawing officers, engineering people. In many cases, it doesn't need to be an engineer that manages that, but this sort of course gives you a good understanding of some of the fundamental requirements which indeed are there. Revenue management, Airport management, as I said before, the changing world. What do airports need to do for hydrogen power or electrical powered aircraft? Airline operations, same deal. Risk analysis. Safety is always the first priority in most airlines. So it's really having that analysis to see what is your risks. Crew scheduling, flight operations, where are you going to fly? Airside operations, professional pilots. And as I said before, one of these courses, the spin-offs, does cover pilot training, marketing, crew training, project management, aviation law. Law is, because it is such a global industry, law starting from the International Civil Aviation Organization, the different authorities, making sure that people that fly are indemnified on where they do fly, if should there be an accident. It's a global industry, so law is again a very important part of the aviation thing. This gives you some of the fundamentals of what that's about. Airport planning, safety investigation. Quality looks at what has typically occurred. Safety tries to be proactive, seeing what can go wrong. What are your safety investigation opportunities there? Airport design. In Australia, there are new airports being built. There's a major one coming just outside of Sydney. Airports are evolving. Global destinations are evolving. Airspace design, air cargo operations. As you probably know, during COVID, a lot of operators partly ceased, but a lot of the cargo world kept going. And Hong Kong, for example, is one of the largest air cargo ports in the world. So there were challenges there and opportunities there to move into that sort of field. When you look at the vision of going forward, this is the Swinburne Unlimited vision. It looks at things to make sure the students are personalised. It focuses on your needs. People are engaged. We try to provide very enlightening, engaging, facilitating sort of lectures. Innovative. We try to be innovative to show you that the world does change. Technical biased, technology biased, global and diverse. Mentioned that before. Sustainable. One of the big issues now is sustainable futures of aviation. There's sustainable aviation fuels. There's hydrogen. There's electrical aircraft. All these technologies are coming. I'm actually jealous because you guys will see that in the future as you go forward. Every Swinburne learner gets a work experience. It's not just sort of lecturing, it's also about engaging with industry, engaging with organisations, learning from them, helping them so you merge into where you wish to go. Reports and development of some of the activities there. We'll talk a bit about that later. Swinburne graduates, our objective is, of course, that every Swinburne graduate gets a job. Every Swinburne partner gets a technical solution. So when we're working with those organisations, we help them get the solutions and help the students get the knowledge to sort of go forward. Swinburne's a prototype of global best practice. We're going forward. It's one Swinburne. It's where we wish to be. Real industry experience. We guarantee that you'll get with some industry, some companies where you can learn and develop your skills. No fine print, no exceptions. In fact, we've been providing it since 1963. That whole time, the university has been providing these courses. It's been focusing on what's going on there. So that's a long time of trying to perfect what we indeed do. Every bachelor degree we offer includes either a placement, internship, or one or more industry-linked projects. So it's that linking, that relating to what the industry needs as we go forward. Collaborate with industry organisations because nothing connects you to the career faster than building a free career at a university. The nature of the degree course, for people from Hong Kong in particular, it's very interesting because there's 8 units which indeed are done. Because a lot of what you've already done, you've already got that passion for the industry. There are already courses which you've done, diplomas which you've done, which lay the founding, the footing for your future careers in aviation. And this degree builds upon that, ties together those other aspects to make it a complete picture, a complete graduate. I'll talk about some of these subjects in just a moment, but you can see that there are some first year, some second year, and some third year subjects because you've already done parts of the foundation for what your degree will indeed cover for you. So when we look at those, there's aviation legal and regulatory framework. Now, as I said before, that's looking at some of the historical issues, the issues facing the industry, carbon environment, the future skills shortages, political and economic challenges which sort of exist there, insurance, international regulatory environment, the International Civil Aviation Organization, the International Air Transport Association, all those bodies that help move this forward. If you look at the next one, which is flight operations for managers, that indeed looks at the atmosphere, some of the characteristics of flight, the flight operations limitations, looks at the different speeds, looks at things like minimum equipment lists, which allow aircraft to indeed fly with some defects inoperative, but because there's redundancies built into the aircraft. It looks at configuration deviation list, where some parts of an aircraft even can be missing. There's all these different facets sort of come in. If you look at the next one, continuing airworthiness management. Some of the challenges with that are, it's about airworthiness management. Also teaches you a bit about what maintenance organisation does. The operator is responsible for the management program, for when defects have to be rectified, when airworthiness directives or mandatory requirements are followed. It's all part of the operator's responsibility. The operator doesn't necessarily have to do maintenance, but a maintenance organisation has to do that. So this talks about the relationship between the operator with their airworthiness management and what indeed the maintenance organisation has to do, how they do the maintenance, how they certify the maintenance, how they meet the operator's requirements for what airworthiness is indeed all about. Of course, there's also marketing. And marketing looks at the fundamental concepts and principles about what is marketing about. It looks like analysing the business, SWOT, strengths, weakness, operationals, and threat analysis. It looks at marketing mixes like place, the pricing, the product, the promotion, the 4 Ps, as it's so called, essence of what marketing is indeed about. As we go further, we look at aviation projects, managing implementation, stakeholder engagement. What do people want? This is part of your training, indeed, with industry as such as we go forward. Reviewing the literature, project planning, report writing, making sure that you understand the criteria of the customer, what you can offer, and making sure that they can indeed match each other as they do go forward. When you start looking at the more advanced subjects, the final year type subjects, there's advanced aviation analytics and research skills. And that indeed talks a lot about the data which is available. How do you make predictions? How do you make plans for what the future is all about? How do you analyze the data? What are the techniques you can use? What are the presentations you can make for qualitative or indeed quantitative presentations? How do you address the requirements of management? What is the focus of how you indeed do that? Then, of course, the big ones, the real challenges with industry, the opportunities with industry, the aviation capstone projects. And that's project planning. That is then followed by project implementation. And this is where you get to engage more with the customer, the airline who you are indeed providing your services for. Work integrated learning. That's part of what the capstone project is about. Every student for all Swinburne undergraduate courses at all stages, they need that work integrated learning, WIL. And that includes that industry placement, internship or industry as that core component of where you're indeed going. Authentic real world learning experiences supported by educational and or industry facilitators. The lecturers help you facilitate your engagement with the organisations you're dealing with to make sure your academic, professional, work criteria are all addressed at the same time. It's consigned with industry partners. And there's real engagement for the students indeed doing that. Prepares you for future careers. When you start, the companies will give you typically challenges of what to do. So this is where you can sort of learn that. It's where you get a feel for what your industry, people that you're working for, what do they want? What do they need? It helps you fill that particular issue. Work integrated learning, as I said before, it's an on-campus but industry-linked project. It's industry-related activities, problems. I've spoken about a lot of this before. It covers things like network planning, airport operations, new airports, infrastructure. Also the airlines. The airline industry has taken a bit of a bashing because of COVID. But with what you can now do with the ultra long range aircraft, new world markets opening, new destinations opening, there's so much challenge of where you can indeed go with that. The industry brief, aviation project-based learning experiences with an authentic brief and some industry community involvement. And the industry partners, well, I've sort of spoken a bit about that already. Projects, what is a project about? What do you sort of learn with that? The projects which you've got industry related, industry brief, industry project. It flows from the left to the right. Simulation, proximate and immersive. With that linking back with what the industry is about. Capstone project, model and aviation. And sort of have a look at what's going on here between those two different modules, which indeed support each other. They're after each other. The first one you do first, and then the second one is a continuation, a finalisation of what you do there. It's final year. It's a semester offering. The first semester and the second semester, you do the second part. Industry partners, presentations, develop your research project. But the final stage, that capstone project 2 stage, is where you pull all that together and generate something which is of interest, need, essential nature for the customer you've indeed been working for. So be part of the future in aviation, whether it's in airlines, whether it's in safety management, where you look at the policy, the risk-based, the assurance issue, promotion issues. Get your qualifications and helps you then with the airlines which you might work with, quality issues, manufacturing, maintenance issues which exist, ultra long range aircraft, flights which are occurring now. For example, Hong Kong has got flights going straight across to New York, ultra long range, twin engined, efficient aircraft, safer aircraft which are going forward. The world, as you can see in this picture in the middle, North America, is growing, but the Asia Pacific area is one of the largest growing areas in the world for aviation. If you look at the top picture, it's a simulation, of course, but the world is going green. The environment, there's a lot of ICAO, IATA, government, EASA, FAA. Australia's lagging a little bit with that, but again, it's moving into what will the future of aviation be. The legal issues, of course, are very fundamental. Security issues, the challenges, the change, what is happening in the world today. The little chart down the bottom, which got all these little bubbles on it, gives an indication of some of the regulatory systems which are in place in Australia, very close to those of America, very close to those of Europe. Career in aviation, you'll learn a bit about the global essence, the connectivity which is there. Every country can't just do its own thing. It's all got to be part of that big global picture. And that's the beauty of aviation. The picture on the right is just showing some of the Airbus models going forward. And indeed, in Airbus has said that by 2035, they will have actually a hydrogen-powered aircraft. That'll be great. It'll eliminate a lot of emissions, but just think of the infrastructure which is going to be necessary, the airport planning issues which are going to be necessary to sort of move that going forward. There is so much which is in the industry. Be part of the future, be part of aviation. It's a great career. It has its up and downs, but it always bounces back stronger and stronger every time. So I won't say too much more. Tommy, any comments? I hope you enjoyed and learned from my session here.
Hi, everyone. Yes, that's well said. I strongly agree. And in fact, with Swinburne, the work and the work integrated learning units, and Swinburne actually guaranteeing that you will experience some real industry engagements with the 2 capstone projects. Like what Keith has said, in semester 1 and semester 2 is a continuation of the project. Semester 1 is creating a proposal, and in semester 2 you actually deliver implementation and solution to the real industry partners. So this type of engagement is very unique in the Bachelor of Aviation Management programs in Hong Kong. So yes, take this opportunity and join the future.
Okay. I guess I have not too much more to say.
Yeah, I think we can open the floor for any questions.
Very quiet.
Yep. Okay, so if there's no questions, I also advise the students here, if they're listening, maybe if you have any questions, you can actually contact Hong Kong U Space, and there's two scholarship opportunities for this top-up Bachelor of Aviation Management program with Swinburne in Hong Kong. One from Hong Kong U Space and the other one from Swinburne. So when you apply, they'll give all these informations to you. Okay, so so thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Okay, bye from now.
Bye.
Yep. And this session.